News.
All the survivors were airlifted to the capital Nairobi for specialized treatment. Vihiga Senator George Munyasya Haniri was among them who had boarded the plane, hoping to alight 30 kilometers away in Kisumu. He remained unconscious for 4 days in the intensive care unit at Nairobi Hospital.
We pray that you may be his private physician.
I regained my senses on, I think, a Tuesday.
Still reeling in shock on just how lucky he was to have survived the crash, Haniri visited the scene few days after he was discharged from hospital.
I went back there to see the wreck. I went back to Busia after I was discharged from hospital, I think 3 weeks or so, before the wreckage was removed. I went back to have a look at it.
For a while, he contemplated never flying again.
It did affect me the first few days, but the nature of my job is that I must fly. I remember soon after that plane crash, I think a week, 2 weeks or so, we were having a meeting in Mombasa at the Leisure Lodge, South Coast, for all members of parliament. I think it was an induction or something. And that time I could not fly. I'm the only one who was exempted, and I was allowed to drive to Mombasa at that time. And that is the only time I remember not taking a flight when I had to take a flight. But soon after that, of course, life came back to normal.
While other victims overcame the tragedy, Wanjiru Kihoro was unlucky. Kilimo, who was the last person to have a conversation with her, says it was traumatizing, a situation that made her fear paying her a visit in hospital.
I was so scared. I was so scared I never went to see her because every time I saw, actually touched and the blood was coming, to me she was dead in the plane already. So I was so scared because it was bringing me bad memories of what I saw. I want to remember her as the last person that we were speaking with. It was really, really sad, and not just because she was the last person. It is because Dr. Kihoro helped to sponsor me to come to Parliament.
For 4 years, Wanjiru Kihoro remained in a coma. Her husband, former Nyeri Member of Parliament Wanyiri Kihoro, visited her religiously every day in the morning, initially at the Nairobi Hospital, then later at the Kenyatta Referral Hospital. A sad affair that saw even once best of friends sever their links. Wanyiri Kihoro says it was a bitter story of betrayal.
My late wife was in the Nelson Mandela Reception Committee that was in London in 1990. So we could knock on any door and say we are losing elections, presidential elections, because we don't have the funding, we don't have the money, we can't be able to fuel our cars, we can't be able to move. So when I did that with my late wife, we took to President Kibaki 16 million shillings. And unfortunately, as soon as he won, within 3 weeks, my wife had the accident in Busia and went into a coma for the next 4 years. And she was in Nairobi Hospital for a period of 2 years. And the former president, who is a neighbor of Nairobi Hospital, never found time during that whole period to go and visit my wife. So when, unfortunately, my wife lived on, went to Kenyatta Hospital another 2 years, died in October in 2006. President Kibaki now wanted to come to the funeral. I told him to keep off if he could not visit her when she was dying slowly in hospital. What is the point of visiting her when she's dead? And for once, I held the president. He did not turn up. He came to Nyeri, drove around, hoping Wanyiri Kihoro would change his mind. And I could not change my mind. Even today, I have not changed my mind and my view about him if that is what friendship is about, that you can be betrayed to that extent.
That painful reality still tortures many of those who saw Wanjiru's life slowly ebb away.
It's difficult to explain what I felt because one of my beliefs in life is when it is your time, you do it well. And so I felt she did her work well, she finished. She was to be there at that particular time, that she was to be a bridge for some people. And I'm one of the people that she was a bridge to, so that I can continue whatever agenda God had set for me, which I believe was in line with what she was standing for, women empowerment. And I still live in denial now, up to now. Yeah, I just know that she's out there.
But you're telling her about her?
I told her I'm so scared. I was so scared. Yeah, I was so scared.
The Busia airstrip runway was to be subject of intense national conversation as the country grappled with the state of airstrips across the country. The tragedy that also kicked off a debate on whether it was prudent for large numbers of public officials to travel together. But a decade and a half later, the Busia plane crash remains one of the worst national tragedies involving public officials.
It's something that really, an experience that one does not want to go through again. To see people you have, you know, we used to work during the campaign, 24 hours, you know, we knew each other so well. And to see them injured, and I particularly, that they are injured because they were my friends, because they had come to celebrate with me. When I saw this former Minister of Finance, Njiru Gijai, I saw him in the hospital, and his parents were there. And you know, I just didn't know. It's the parents. I think the mother must have noticed that, you know, he says, "Mzee, itakuwa sawa." You know, for a long time I felt responsible.
Duncan Hemba, KTN, The Untold Story.